Welcome to Luxury Icons, the marketing and PR podcast created by the Luxury Communications Council. I'm Rosie Shephard, the founder of the Luxury Communications Council, the world's only membership network dedicated to advancing the global luxury industry by uniting, supporting and championing marketing communication leaders. This podcast is dedicated to meeting some of the industry's most prolific leaders, delving into the challenges and opportunities that we face together. Welcome to today's episode, where I'm thrilled to be joined by James Wall, the Global Marketing Director of Quintessentially, the lifestyle and concierge company founded by Ben Elliott 25 years ago, who happens to also be the Queen's nephew. James is a renowned global marketing strategist with a career spanning luxury brands like Gives & Hawkes, Virtu, Acuris and Harrods, where James was instrumental in transforming brand narrative and driving tangible market success. At Quintessentially, he spearheads initiatives that bridge exclusivity and experience, providing their clients with unparalleled access and more. Today we'll explore James's journey, the nuances of marketing to high net worth individuals, and his insights into where the industry is heading. James, welcome to Luxury Icons. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Rosie. Thanks for the very kind introduction.
Not at all. Let's start at the beginning, if you don't mind. Quintessentially, can you tell us what exactly it is, just in case anybody doesn't know?
As you mentioned, Quintessentially was founded 25 years ago. We were the pioneers in lifestyle management, or concierge is probably better known. So ultimately, we have the honour to serve, a vast array of ultra net worth individuals across a multitude of different services. So within Quintessentially, we have our own travel agency, for example. So helping those members, do extraordinary travel adventures, but that's not just your flights and your hotels, but everything in between. So your itineraries once you're on the ground, looking after your children with nannies, chefs, if your private jet, your direct to airport and runway, and everything in between. So travel is one of our key services that is really loved by our members, but that's absolutely not all. We have our own real estate business, so helping particularly those moving abroad or moving with their jobs. We help them find their dream property. In the same sense, when our clients are moving, we have an education team who help bring their children on a journey, help them with kindergarten or primary, secondary, even up to university. But I think what we're probably best known for is really delivering those exclusive experiences. So we're fortunate enough to have some incredible partnerships with luxury brands globally, and we enable our members to really access the best of the best. So, the behind closed doors, access to, events, to fashion shows, to, the sort of red carpet things, but, really just setting expectations incredibly high. So that's sort of on the private membership side, and that is what we're best known for. But we have a huge array of other services from sort of a corporate offering. So we offer our services both sort of on a white label basis, and also, with the Quintessentially brand at the forefront. We offer that to corporates, from banks to private equity houses to family offices, etc. We have an in-house agency, Quintessential Experiences, which is probably very relevant for your listeners. And that agency works, again, with luxury brands to promote themselves, whether that be within activations and events. So we recently done a New York fashion show event with Ralph Lauren for their Autumn 25 campaign. And that was really sort of helping their VIP guests get the best out of their experience. We work with Jaguar Land Rover very, very regularly, managing their experiences. So yeah, Quintessential Experiences really sort of drive that those excellent standards within those luxury brands. So yeah, there's a lot to it. I've tried to sort of summarise it as best I can.
That's
but
a lot.
It's
that's
yeah,
a very
it's
big
a lot.
remit
It's
for
a
you.
lot. It really is. Yes. Yeah.
So let's talk about access. So, well, first of all, can you get me front row Oasis?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
great,
of
done.
course,
I'm
of
going to hold
course.
you to that. We've got it on camera. More importantly, though, what are some of the more sort of, I guess, extreme examples? Can you get me black swans to be at my event on the North Pole, for example?
Whatever you want, Rosie, whatever you want.
Brilliant.
No,
Well, again, I'm going to hold you to that. But tell me some examples. We'd
Yeah.
love to hear.
Well, we always say the only thing really sort of holding anyone back is that imagination, really. So,
And money?
and money, yes, yeah, that does come into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do a lot of really extraordinary things. Some of which we obviously, privacy is incredibly important for us. We have very discerning members, as you can imagine. But to give you some examples, we recently organised a dinner on an iceberg for 2 of our members. Private, flew in, Michelin star chef to cook up a fantastic meal on an iceberg. We have flown, our clients' favourite cigarettes from Paris to New York on a private jet. We've flown, pets. One of our really famous examples that, from a few years ago was closing the Sydney Harbour Bridge for a proposal.
I saw that.
So yeah,
Nice.
we've done some incredible things.
Did she say yes?
Yes. She did.
Thank goodness.
You couldn't
Yeah,
say,
exactly.
you
That would be
couldn't say
very
no.
awkward.
Yeah. So no, there's some incredible things we do. And another one that I personally love is one of our members wanted an incredible experience for he and his son. So he organised for a private island experience, and we hired in some ex-special forces for them to have this week-long survival experience. So
Wonderful.
they were taught to hunt, to cook, to build shelter, to find water, and ultimately to survive, off the land for a week.
It.
So that was incredible.
Bear Grylls would be
I would
proud.
love that one.
Love it. Yeah, exactly. Let's all go. Well, that all sounds like great fun. Tell me about, coming back to you, tell me about some of your sort of, I guess, key milestones and what drove you to get into this luxury space in the first instance?
Yeah, I mean, I was very fortunate to land my first job at Harrods. A very junior role at the tender age of whatever I was then, 23 or so. But I think Harrods, I had several roles within Harrods latterly, looking after marketing for the menswear and sports divisions. And that for me was an incredible grounding in luxury, obviously, working with all these unbelievable brands, liaising with, the likes of, Dior and Zegna and, Ralph Lauren on a day-to-day basis, and really understanding, the needs and wants of these incredible luxury brands. But I think more so the incredible attention to detail that Harrods has in everything they do, from the in-store marketing and displays, through to, their external presence and their brand and their values. That for me was an incredible grounding, and working with some, unbelievably talented people. It was it's obviously a very challenging place to work, very high expectations, but that brings you up as an employee. It really sort of propels you into a career, which I think I was really fortunate to work with a leader in the marketing division who was very, kind, compassionate, very driven, very successful. But it really sort of taught me a management style that I kind of carry through today to my team. And I believe that, well, I'm sure they'll be listening at some point, but hopefully they would concur with this, that, I like to manage with, kindness, compassion. I want to, to mentor them. I want them to, to really excel in their careers. And, a lot of them are young, and they're sort of starting off with Quintessentially, and I want to give them the opportunities that I had in those early years. So Virtu was another fantastic opportunity for me. Making the world's most exclusive mobile phones. Again, sort of attention to detail, the craftsmanship, the standards that were set was, for me, again, just carrying on from what I'd learned at Harrods, really, that every touch point needs to be perfectly executed, to deliver what a very discerning audience desires. And And then I guess there's sort of a theme, I guess, running through my career, and that is about craftsmanship, really. So Vertu, obviously handmade, handcrafted mobile phones using the finest materials. And then after that, moving into Gives and Hawkes, obviously Savile Row, bespoke tailoring, again, very discerning clientele who expect the absolute best and a personalised service. And yeah, I think those two in particular there's a lot of great synergy between those two brands. And I think craftsmanship is, for me, sort of the real epitome of luxury, and delivering that personalised service to consumers, and that is ultimately what we do at Quintessentially.
And that seems to be sort of, I guess, the red thread that goes through your career. But generally, do you think the marketing director role has changed, or the marketing function as a whole?
Yeah, I definitely. I've always been very commercially minded, but I think certainly in my role now, it's 95% commercial from my perspective anyway. Obviously, I have a team that delivers the content, the storytelling, etc., which is clearly very creative, let's say. But I'm incredibly commercial. I think that is what marketers now need to be very, very mindful of, and it's a difficult balance. Getting the creativity, which ultimately leads to that storytelling and creating a brand that resonates with its clients, but ultimately having that sort of very commercial mindset. So I'm very in the day-to-day looking after our sort of performance marketing and making sure we're delivering the ROI that we need, because with Quintessentially we're a very sort of marketing-driven sales function. So we deliver all of the incoming leads for our sales team then to hopefully convert. So yeah, I think today's marketeer needs to be very, very commercial, and particularly with the changing sort of demographics, the younger demographic coming through, we need to have a very, very different mindset. And I think that presents quite a big challenge to marketers now.
How are you marketing to Gen Z?
I'll be honest, it's not right now. I would say we're very focused on our core demographic, which is sort of 45 to 60. So we are still very traditional in our approach, certainly with regard to our services. But having said that, we have just in April launched our first app. So that is sort of very much tailored towards a young demographic, and we are seeing younger members coming through who want access to the latest technology, and this app enables them to access all of the benefits, everything that Quintessentially does best, at the touch of a button at their fingertips. So this is sort of, I suppose, phase one in terms of really starting to attract that younger demographic. We do need to look at our services for sure. We've actually, over the last sort of 2 to 3 years, consolidated a lot of our services. So at one time, Quintessentially had around 50 sort of subsidiary businesses, from limos to a modelling agency to a vodka brand.
Oh, goodness.
A huge array. It's a very entrepreneurial business. Anyone with a great idea would be encouraged to go off and do those things, which is great, but probably detracted from sort of the core offering, which I described earlier. So we're now very focused on that. But I think one thing we really need to do is actually stop and take stock of our current offering and actually think, is that relevant for today's Gen Z or sort of the younger demographic? Because yes, people will always love, I think, those experiences and the travel and getting access to these events, but equally they want access to the latest Moncler ASAP Rocky collection,
Correct.
The first sort
Exactly.
of first access, first look at those things. So I think that's something we can definitely improve on. We have to be very careful, because what we don't want to do is alienate our core customer, but also our business is built on a very, very personal approach. So every member gets what we call a lifestyle manager, and it's the lifestyle manager that ultimately has the relationship and is able to really understand that member's preferences, and to the extent that they know their spouse's preferences as well, their kids, where they go to school, where they like to eat, their dogs, what their when their dogs need to go to a kennel, or I don't know, things like that. So really, we don't want to detract from that very, very personal service. So the app is really, at this stage, as a sort of an add-on to the service, so they can really understand everything there is to know about Quintessentially and what we do, but whilst still serving them on a very personal, one-to-one basis.
Yeah, I can imagine there's a lot of WhatsApp messaging going
Absolutely.
along. Yeah, that's how I'd want to do it.
Yeah, and and we have to, clientele, they're very discerning, and they want to communicate on whatever platform they feel most comfortable with. So, so we offer that through live chat on the app, or through WhatsApp, or on a phone, or on email, or whatever channel they want. So it's a demanding role for those lifestyle managers, but we can't be narrow-minded in our approach to communication. We have to be very, very personal.
And do you see that since COVID, there's a lot of talk about how ultra high net worth and high net worth individuals, sort of, I guess, behaviours have changed post COVID. Has that had an impact on how you've been, strategizing and actually conducting those marketing tactics?
Yeah, I think we're very well geared up for this change. Pre-COVID, it was very much, I think, a sort of consumerist outlook from our members. They would love access to to luxury goods, to the Birkin handbags, and the Cartier watches, and the real statement sort of luxury items. Whereas I think this is a well-known narrative, but it's very much now about the experience economy. And our members love nothing more than to get that. Obviously money can buy, but the real exclusive experiences. For example, last week I had the amazing opportunity to go to the Royal Albert Hall to see David Gilmour of Pink Floyd, and we had access to the roof, and it's a fantastic tour of the archives, and general public don't have access to that, and that's the kind of thing that our members really, really love. So that has certainly been the case for the last sort of 2.5 years since COVID. But I think we are sort of seeing a slight shift back to that kind of consumerist mentality of, really wanting access to the latest collaboration, as I mentioned there earlier, sort of the Moncler A$AP Rocky collaborations. Moncler is an amazing example, I think, of how they're really appealing to a younger demographic with all of their collaborations, Rick Owens, and a lot of these fantastic, very, of the moment sort of personalities that can really amplify these brands. And I think we are seeing sort of, a slight move back towards that now.
And how much do partnerships contribute to the success in
massively? Yeah, massively. We have a separate partnerships team, and ultimately that is what enables us to get a lot of the access that our members love. So, as an example, we have a really deep partnership with Bentley. So our members get to go on their extraordinary journey, where they get transported through various countries. But in the UK, they have a tour of the factory and crew. They then drive through the Peak District and the Lake District. They stay at amazing 5-star hotels. They have Michelin star chefs. They get a tour of the Macallan distillery. So again, it's these real one-offs, the once in a lifetime things, and then that partnership is now much deeper. So they're helping us with our philanthropic arms, Quintessentially Foundation. Our standout event of the year, the Fair of St James, is coming up this November. So those relationships are kind of at the core of what we do, and really enable our members to do what they love doing.
So your clientele ranges, I suppose, from, yes, these high net worth individuals we've been talking about, but also CEOs and creatives. You've got, brand experience as an offering there as well. So how do you tailor your marketing strategy to sort of fit all of those different discerning audiences?
So we're ultimately selling a dream. We're selling our people at the end of the day. And, as a marketing team, we are there to deliver that storytelling and deliver those USPs in as an engaging way as possible. So, my marketing team are, an incredible team of creatives, from designers to copywriters to CRM experts, social media, etc. And that is at the crux of what we're doing, is producing content that resonates with all of these different these consumer groups. But I would actually say that more so, our marketing strategy needs to be tailored per territory, per region, because we have, I guess as a brand, we have varying degrees of brand awareness wherever you are. So, the UK and to a slightly lesser extent the US, we have good brand visibility and brand awareness, and therefore our strategy needs to be less about, creating additional brand awareness, but actually, looking at sort of the middle and bottom of funnel strategies. And we've seen great success with paid search in particular in the UK and in the US. But, looking to Asia, for example, we launched an office in Singapore in 2022, and that strategy has to be much more about brand awareness. The concept of concierge is less well known there, lifestyle management the same. So we've done a lot of work from a press angle, from events to traditional advertising, to really sort of build up that brand awareness, and then ultimately then filter them down through the funnel to the bottom of the funnel, which is where we're seeing success. Similarly in the Middle East, we have a pretty well established presence in Dubai, and now Saudi and Abu Dhabi. But I think there the consumer is probably more advanced in terms of the awareness of Quintessentially and of concierge. So it's a real sort of mix of sort of all the above, all the marketing channels there that PR to brand awareness to to bottom funnel. But I'm very focused, as I mentioned earlier, on the sort of performance side, but SEO for us as well is incredibly important. We are generating a lot of content to really sort of get that organic traffic to our site. So we rank really highly with articles on that really sort of tailor towards that luxury clientele. Over the years, we have been seen as this producing these big lavish parties that always generated amazing press, and we've sort of moved away from that now, but ultimately that delivered unbelievable press value. So now it's about finding different ways to really speak of our our standing within the industry. We have an incredible set of data on all of our members. Our privacy is second to none, so we would obviously never disclose any of that, but we can use that data in a very clever way to speak of trends within the industry, to become the thought leaders in that space. So that's where we're moving to now. Less about these big lavish parties, although it's our 25th anniversary next year, so
always love a party.
There will be
invitations in the post, I hope.
Absolutely. So the 25th is going to be a real opportunity for us to breathe that sort of life back into the brand, in the sense of getting that real wider brand awareness. So we're very focused on that for next year.
You mentioned trends. Naturally, you're on the front line of seeing lots of different behaviours of how people's requests are changing, for example. Are there any sort of particular things you're seeing here, or indeed actually much, going to the wider luxury world as a whole, as this sort of sense of new luxury embraces all the luxury brands?
There's definitely changing trends, I suppose, from a travel perspective. We're seeing these sort of multi-generational trips being organised, from grandparents right down to grandchildren and everything in between. And whereas previously would have seen them travelling to an amazing 5-star resort and spending their time there, soaking up the sun and the atmosphere and etc. It's now again about these experiences. So what we're seeing is often requests to organise these incredible experiences and itineraries on the ground. So a lot of people are asking for sort of conservation type experiences. So going and working on some conservation projects, and that seems to be a real sort of trend in travel. In terms of sort of the culinary experiences, we see a lot of now organising a lot of these very exclusive private dining experiences with chefs, and I think that's probably being seen on a global scale. We get a lot of requests to meet with these chefs. A lot of them are now huge celebrities in their own right, and people want to meet them. They want to understand who these people are and get an in-depth experience, not just the chef's table at the restaurant, but have the chef personally cook for you, sit with you, chat to you about their experiences. So it's just becoming much more nuanced and much much sort of deeper in terms of that experience that they want. So yeah, I think it's just that level of exclusivity and personalisation that people are demanding now.
Nice. I mean, it sounds fascinating. I'd love. Who should we have to our dinner party? Let's do it. Let's plan.
Let's do it. I mean, Michel Roux, he's always in high demand.
Sure.
We had a supper club with Michel Roux not too long ago, which went down fantastically well. He's an amazing guy.
Nice. I'll sign me up. Let's just zoom out a little bit on sort of the more macro trends. I mean, everyone's talking about AI. You can't escape. Well, you can't escape AI. It's everywhere. It's in all of our companies intrinsically in many ways that we didn't even know was there. And yet many people are now sort of using it as, I guess, a more consumer-facing medium. Are you guys experimenting with that? Anything? Is it on your radar to be thinking about that?
Yeah, it's clearly the question on everyone's lips at the moment. And yes, we are. But I would say we haven't quite cemented our strategy yet with AI. For us, at this stage, what I'm looking at is how AI can make my team's life more efficient. So, simple things like, how can we use AI to, create ideas and to brainstorm for us, just to make things quicker ultimately, because, we are very, very stretched looking after all of our services. So, I'm always looking for ways to be more efficient. And I think our app is the next opportunity to really integrate AI. And the way we've built it is, again, using Salesforce, one of their products called Experience Cloud. And we've built all of our articles on something called knowledge, which ultimately will eventually feed into AI and allow AI to use all of that data to build and give personal recommendations to our clients. So that's sort of, I think, next in the pipeline for us. And I mean, again, we are very unique in the sense that we want more and more interactions with our members. We don't want less like many organisations. We want more. And we will never change our business model in terms of offering that very personal one-to-one service with Lifestyle Manager and Member. That's never going to be replaced by, a bot, AI, etc. But we can use it in other ways to be more clever and more, efficient with everything we're doing. So we are getting there. I would say we're not there yet, but it's definitely next on the horizon for us.
Great. Well, I look forward to seeing all of that come into fruition.
Yeah.
And speaking of sort of future gazing, what's next for you? What are your sort of next stage of your professional goals, or indeed personal goals? What's James 25 and beyond?
Wow. I mean, there's still a lot to do with Quintessentially, and the brand, as I sort of mentioned earlier, it's sort of ripe for taking the next step. I mean, look, we're 25 years old. We're the market leaders. We know our consumers inside out, but I think there's so much more we can do. As I mentioned, next year's our 25th anniversary, so that's going to be the catalyst to invigorate life back into the brand, and sort of really propel us to the next level. There's the competition coming to the market is growing exponentially. Even the last 2 years we've seen about 20 to 25 new brands come into the market, all of whom are doing things very differently, a lot using tech, using AI, using apps as sort of the primary form of communication. So we know our place in the market, and we won't change with that. But as I mentioned, AI is something we're sort of really looking at now, and I think that will sort of push the frontiers of what we're able to do and sort of efficiencies. So yeah, for me, I'm sort of very focused on our 25th anniversary in 25 and making that as big a success as it can be. And I think really just making the brand sing. It's a fantastic brand. It has the most amazing people, really, really passionate, smart people, and I think together we can really sort of take this brand to the next level. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next
I really look forward to seeing what you do for the anniversary. Yeah. Very exciting times ahead. Final question, James. This is the question that I ask everybody. I have given you a heads up that this is coming, so I'm hoping you've had a few moments to think about it. What does luxury mean to you?
Yeah, I was I was lying in bed on Saturday morning thinking about this question, and all I could think about was sourdough toast with lashings of butter and my mum's homemade jam. And that's on a personal scale, but I think for me personally, luxury is taking pleasure in the simple things. It's my sourdough toast, and it's
Lovely.
being in the mountains on my bike. It's just being kind of having that freedom, I think, for me. But on a personal level, and I mentioned it earlier, is I think my career has been defined by the craftsmanship, and I think for me that is really the essence of luxury, is having a product that has taken someone hundreds of hours to create, in the sense of a bespoke suit, or a craftsman that has trained for 10, 15 years to excel in the skill that they have, and then allowing that person to deliver something to you which is just unbelievably personal. I think that really kind of for me defines what luxury is.
Well, that's a lovely place to leave it. Thank you so much, James.
Thank you. Thanks, Rosie.
Thank you so much for joining us for Luxury Icons. This has been brought to you by the Luxury Communications Council in conjunction with Trapdoor Productions. If you'd like more information on the Luxury Communications Council, please visit our website, luxurycommunicationscouncil.com.